We're going to be finishing up this rose painting within this video that I started last week, and within this one I'm just going to go in a little bit more detail on how I use transparent and opaque paints within my paintings. This is a part 2, so it's not going to get that many views, so for the smaller group of you guys that are here, I just want to say thank you so much. So like I showed in last week's video, for this rose which is in focus, I'm using thin layers of transparent paint. I reduced them with distilled water. For most of this, it's just 50-50, so equal parts water to paint. And I applied the layers of that paint very lightly to this clayboard panel. That way, they're very easy to erase. And you can see here that I'm using a soft eraser to start to draw in some of these highlights. Now, most people who use an eraser within an airbrush painting are mainly using it to add in textures, like small little specular highlights. But I use them a bit differently by removing paint evenly to not only add in textures where I want it, but also to add in highlights and midtones. You can see how slowly I work with it, so let me speed up the video here so you can get a sense of how this highlight comes into the painting. I'm removing paint evenly along the top part of this petal, and it's very important to use overlapping strokes so I don't get any texture in here. It's just a bright area of light. And like I mentioned in last week's video, using an eraser like this is not a very easy thing to learn. It takes a fair amount of practice and trial and error. But if you get it down and get good with using that eraser, you can pull off a lot of subtleties in a painting. And when you combine it with thin glazes of paint over the top, then you can pull off some really cool effects like you see in the final painting. I know that if you look at the completed painting, it might look like I used opaque white paint to paint in the petals of this rose, but it was all done with dark transparent colors and erasing. So the really bright or white areas within these petals don't come from the paint, it's actually coming from exposed parts of that clayboard underneath. If you didn't get to watch the first part of this video, I'll make sure that I have it linked down below in the video description, and I'm only using 3 colors for this. That's black, neutral gray, and brown Brazil. Once I get some of those highlights drawn in with the eraser, I'm going to switch back over to the airbrush, and we're just going to focus on this petal at the bottom. In the brush right now, I have the color Neutral Gray by Schmincke Aero Colors, and I'm working along the right side of this petal, adding another layer of paint over the top. This is going to help darken it. Because it's a transparent paint, it's important to remember that the more layers of paint that I spray onto the surface, the darker it's going to get. So I continue spraying this paint along the right side within that shadow, always moving the airbrush just a little bit as I'm spraying. This way paint is not building up in one area, it's not going to look blotchy or patchy. I'm holding the airbrush a little bit farther back from the surface so I get a wider part of that spray pattern, and at the end of each airbrush stroke, I always move the trigger fully forward to stop the paint flow, but I'm spraying air the entire time. When spraying a transparent color like this, it's very easy to accidentally go a little bit too dark. So what a lot of people do, and what I used to do in the past, is add some white into the mixture. That's going to limit the value. But over the years, with a lot of practice, I've gotten a lot better at spraying transparent paint. So what I always like to do to prevent them from going too dark is spray everything at a much lighter value than I know that it's going to need to be. Then once I get more of the painting in and a lot of the surrounding values painted in, I'll come back to areas and darken them as needed. The way that you see color or value that's put down on a canvas is always going to be influenced by the surrounding colors or values. So I just remind myself to spray the values light at first until I get the surrounding colors and values painted in. That way I can see the color more accurately and adjust it and darken it as needed later on. So I'm going to speed through a little bit more of the erasing and the subtractive drawing process because I think you get a sense of how it works. It's just the same process over and over again. So let's move on to the next part, and this is just what I talked about, spraying in the surrounding values around the flower, around the petals that we're painting in. I have a custom cut shield here to mask off the flower. This way it's going to prevent any overspray that I'm spraying in this background getting onto the flower. It's very important to protect it. I've actually found it kind of surprising how far overspray can move from the part that I'm spraying onto a different part of the painting. So if there's any area that I want to keep clean, free from any sort of contamination or overspray, I'm always going to mask it off. So I'm using the color black here, applying it into the background, slowly building up these layers. You can see that there's a leaf along the bottom right side, and all I did was spray around it. I'm going to be using opaque and semi-opaque paints later on to spray in these leaves within the background, so I'm not really concerned if overspray gets on them for now. I'm going to be covering all that up anyway. But like I already mentioned, I'm not using any sort of opaque paints within the flower, within the petals, so that's why it's very important I mask off that area. For the lower part of this leaf, I'm using my airbrush a little bit closer to the surface so the edge is a bit more defined, but it's still soft. Then I'll just work my way around different parts in this background, small sections at a time to start filling in some black paint. There's a leaf on the lower right hand side of this rose. It's in a really dark cast shadow, so I'm going to start here first with the color black. I'm going to use some green later on. I'm using a simple little trick here of 2 freehand shields that I'm stacking up to mask off the petals just above it. I spray some of this black paint below it, spraying a bit more along the top part of that leaf, a bit less on the bottom. That way we get a gradient from dark to light. Like I mentioned earlier, once I get some of this background painted in, I'm going to be able to see the values of the petals a lot more accurately. I'm noticing that the shadow along the right side of this lower petal is too light, and I knew it was going to be too light because I talked about that earlier. I always like to spray the values lighter at first and darken them later. But now that those values are painted in, I can start adding some more paint in here to help darken it. So I'm going to use this black, lightly glaze it over the top. Now, as I sprayed some of that black paint into that shadow value, I didn't mask off the petal above it, so overspray got in there. I could have masked it off to prevent this, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do here is instead of using white paint, I'm going to use an eraser. It's a large, soft eraser, and just remove the paint from this petal. And yeah, it might be a little time consuming to use an eraser like this, but I'm in no rush when I'm painting, and I hope you're not either. Once I get that down, I notice that I want to sharpen up a few of the values of the shadows just below it. So you can see I'm using a freehand shield here, lining it up, slightly elevating it from the surface, spraying some paint right over it. That way the edge is still going to be defined, but it's going to be a little bit softer because that shield was elevated. I'm going to zoom in here to show you how I paint this next petal, and I'm switching back over to the color neutral gray. There's a straight edge along the right side of this petal, so I'm using the simplest shield possible. That's just a piece of copy paper. You see I line it up here and spray a little bit of paint over to the left. It's a transparent color, and again, I don't want to go too dark with this, so I'm just spraying a light amount of paint. And once I get that edge in, I'm going to start filling in the petal just below it, off to the right. As I spray in this petal at the bottom, I'm not at all concerned about the overspray. I'm going to allow it to darken the petal just above it and get into the background. It's not going to affect me. At the top part of this petal, I want to get that transition, that darker value just above it to the petal behind it. So I'm using a freehand shield again with a slight curve in it, lining it up and spraying some paint. And I'm always following my graphite pencil lines. Anytime I use a freehand shield to paint in a transition point, I line it up with the pencil lines. On the top right corner of this petal, there's some small darker shadows and some texture in here. So I'm going to use the airbrush freehand very close to the surface and start painting these in. And I needed sharp, defined detail there, so I moved the airbrush close to the surface. When I'm spraying in the larger areas, like the values within the petals or the background, the airbrush is farther away from the surface. That way I get a wider part of the spray pattern. And while I'm working, as you see me doing here, I'm always changing the distance from my airbrush to the surface, all depending on what I'm trying to paint in. And for these 3 or 4 petals along the right side of the rose, that was pretty quick. It took me about 5 to 10 minutes to get these values in place. And even if I left it like this, just using the airbrush, this would be perfectly fine for the painting, but I'm going to push it a little bit further. There's a water droplet on this petal, so I'm going to use a soft eraser to remove some paint, kind of like an oval shape. I erased out a very subtle gradient within this water droplet, a little bit more paint removed at the bottom of it. I used more pressure there and made some more passes, and I used a little bit less as I moved up, so it's a bit brighter at the bottom. It needs a shadow just below it, so I'm using a part of a freehand shield to line up with that water drop and spray some paint below it. I'm sorry about my hand blocking the camera. Same color, neutral gray, just spraying the lightest amount of paint right over this shield so I get some at the bottom. And that's what, like 10 seconds of work. It's already starting to look like a water droplet, but I can go a little bit further by using a different part of this shield to add a gradient along the top part of it. Using a small semicircle here along the top and then spraying some paint up in there. That way I get a gradient within the water drop itself. It's a bit darker on top, it gets lighter at the bottom. So those shadows and gradients in there just help give it a little bit more of a 3D effect. Now from here, I'm going to switch over to my eraser and just pull out some more highlights in the petals like I showed earlier. I want to warm up this shadow within the petal along the right side, so I'm going back to the color Brown Brazil, lightly glazing it in there, and then using the eraser again to clean up some overspray in some areas surrounding it. And so that's pretty much it for the petals of this rose. It's pretty much done. There's a few adjustments I'll probably have to do later on after I paint in the background, but those are the techniques that I use with transparent paints. I just apply them very lightly, and I use a ton of erasing to add in highlights and textures. So let's move along to the next part of this video. That's using opaque paints and semi-opaque paints. So we're going to start painting in a few of the leaves at the bottom. Now, unlike the rose, these are going to be a little bit softer. They're slightly blurry, slightly out of focus. I'm using 2 different greens for these leaves. Olive green for the leaves on the right, the ones we're starting with, and phthalo green for the larger leaves on the left side, which are kind of like a bluish green. I'm going to mix these colors with white, and that's going to make the mixtures more opaque, and it's also going to limit the value so they can't get too dark. So I use the olive green and white to mix up a light, a medium, and a dark value of this color. That just depends on how much white I added to the mixture. The more white, the lighter the color is going to be. For this first leaf on the right side, I actually made a mistake and I started with my phthalo green mixture. That's why it's really important to label your paint mixtures, so it's no big deal. What I'm doing here is just lightly spraying over some of that olive green over the top, just right from the bottle. That gets in some of the midtones, and now for the highlights, I'm switching over to my lightest olive green mixture and I'm starting to spray in some of the lighter areas. And because I want everything soft and out of focus, I'm maintaining some distance from my airbrush to the panel. I'm not using any sort of shields, just doing this freehand. And unlike the petals of the rose, I'm not using any sort of erasing in here. This is all done with the airbrush because I want it to look like it's out of focus. I'm switching off between my lightest green mixture to spray in some of the highlights and then to the color black to paint in some of the background and a few of the darker values within the center of the leaf. Then once I get all these values painted in, I'm going to switch over to the color olive green from the bottle and lightly glaze it across the entire surface of this leaf just to adjust the hue. For the leaves off to the left, I'm going to start with some of the darkest values first. So I'm using my darkest mixture of olive green to spray in a few of the shadows and then also using some black to help darken them a bit more. When I spray that highlight up on top, I of course mask off the petals of the flower because I don't want to overspray getting up there. And once I get some of the highlights and midtones painted in for these leaves, then I switch over to the color black like I'm doing here and just spray it into the background to soften up the edges and of course to darken up that background as well. I noticed at this point that I went a little bit too dark with a few of these leaves, especially the one along the right side, so it's not really a big deal. As I paint in more of the painting, I'm going to come back to this with my lighter values later on and help lighten them up. You'll notice with these opaque colors that I'm not using any sort of erasing here, so the light values don't come from the panel itself, they come from the white paint within the mixtures. So rather than a subtractive technique that I used within the rose petals with those transparent paints, here I'm using an additive technique with the opaque colors, just spraying them on to get lighter and lighter values. And because I want to keep everything soft and out of focus, I'm just trying to keep some distance from my airbrush to the panel, and I'm doing all of this freehand without any sort of shields. For the lower left-hand side of the painting, the first thing I'm doing here is using that black paint to start painting in some of the background, and anytime I'm spraying this near the flower itself, near the petals, I make sure to mask it off. And I freehand paint this black value around these leaves at the bottom to give myself that softer edge. One thing that I want to mention here is that I do have the video lights dimmed just a little bit here so I can see this part of the painting clearer. The bright video lights are really amazing for filming clear video, but they're kind of blinding at times when I'm painting, so here and there I just have to dim them, so just be aware of that. For this first leaf, I'm switching over to my lightest phthalo green mixture. It almost looks like I'm using the color white here. But it's a mixture of white and phthalo green, and I'm using it to spray in an even value across this leaf. Just clean up any of the black overspray in here and help lighten it up. Then I'm going to switch over to the color phthalo green. There's no white in the mixture here. I'm using this directly from the bottle, and I'm spraying in a few of the shadow values and applying a light glaze of this green over the top of that leaf. Now it's hard to see here, but that light green and white mixture that I used earlier added a fair amount of overspray into the background, so I'm switching over to the color black to help cover it up. I noticed that a few of the edges of this leaf were just a bit sharper, so I am using a freehand shield in a few points here, but like I talked about earlier, I'm slightly elevating it from the surface when I spray over it. This way the edge that I'm spraying in is kind of in the middle. It's not too sharp and it's not too soft. Once that leaf is in place, it's time to start painting in the highlights, so I'm switching over to my lightest phthalo green mixture of phthalo green and white. As I'm looking at the reference photo, I'm squinting my eyes and just trying to spot where I see some of the lightest values. Wherever I see them, I spray them in with my airbrush. In a few points here, I'm also controlling the value of this lighter green mixture. The more paint I spray, the brighter it's going to be until it gets to 100% coverage. Then I use some black to paint in the edges and to darken up a few of the shadows within the center of this leaf. And then finally, I'm switching over to the color white, and this is directly from the bottle. I'm just using this in the center where we have some of the brightest values, like within this water droplet. Moving along to the leaves on the left side of the painting, I'm first painting in the background with the color black. This way I get the edges and the contours of the leaves in place, then I can switch over to my opaque colors and start spraying these in. I'm starting with my medium phthalo green mixture to map in some of the midtones and darker values within here, and then switching over to my lightest phthalo green mixture to spray in the areas of the highlights. Then I switch over to the color white, no reduction here, it's right from the bottle, and I use that to spray in the lightest values, the areas of water on this leaf. So that leaf is painted in, we have the values in place, so what I want to do is use some black, spray along the outside, just kind of blend it into the background and darken up a few of the shadows within here. Just above these leaves, there's a sharper one behind the rose petals that I forgot to paint in. So the way that I'm going to do this is use some Frisket film. I cut out a piece of Frisket to mask off the shape of this leaf, and now I'm going to use a freehand shield to mask off the petals just above it. I sprayed in my medium phthalo green mixture, which is opaque, so it fills in this whole area, and then I switched over to the color black to paint in some of the shadows along the bottom and along the left side. And that petal's exposed on the top, so anytime I'm spraying this black paint near it, I always mask it off with a freehand shield. Now this leaf is still within the focal plane, so I can add some texture in here using my eraser. I'm working along the right side, just removing some paint, brightening up this area. And you can see here that Frisket film gave a very sharp edge to this individual leaf, so it looks like this part is in focus along with the rose just above it, and then those leaves that we just painted in behind it are softer and out of focus, so we're getting that lens effect. I noticed that I needed to lighten up that soft leaf behind it, so I'm just masking off that leaf with the other part of the Frisket film and spraying some of this light phthalo green behind it. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to head out from here. That's all the techniques that I'd use for a painting like this, with those transparent colors to paint in all the detail within the rose, those petals, and all those textures. And then of course how I use those opaque paints to paint in the background, all the leaves to get that soft out of focus look. And you can see what I'm doing here at the bottom. It's just those same techniques. That black paint first to get in the background and the contours of each one of these leaves, and then using those opaque green mixtures to paint in the leaves itself. I'm using the phthalo green mixtures on the left side and the olive green mixtures for the leaves on the right. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that this one leaf at the very bottom of the painting is slightly in focus, so I used a little bit of erasing in here just to add some more texture to it. That way it looks a little bit sharper. And then this is what the painting looks like when everything gets painted in. It's pretty much done, but there's still a fair amount of refinements that I need to make. So I'm just working around with my eraser, lightening up some areas and darkening up some other areas with my airbrush. Thank you all so much for being here. I want to wish you all the best in your paintings and drawings. Make sure you spend some time doing it. It's important. And of course, I want to say thank you so very much for the very generous support of the current channel members scrolling up on the screen right now. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Ryan T, Juan, and Salvador. Thank you guys all so much and welcome. And of course, a welcome back to Wendell and Scotty Jackson Art. Thank you guys so much. Take care, everyone. I'll see you back here next Friday.